Faith. The next week, rumors spread through BYU campus of a student found dead up in the mountains. Details on the death were sparse after it happened, though speculations claimed that the student who died was gay. I didn't know him. To my knowledge, he hadn't attended USGA during any of the weeks I went. I wouldn't find out any details until much later. Harry Fisher died on February 12, 2016, just 4 months after the policy change regarding gay church members and their children. Harry had been falling behind in school and struggling to find a job. He'd come out on Facebook just 1 month prior. Harry's last actions on this earth were to visit the church website for a Sunday school lesson about trusting in the Lord before printing out a typed note. "I know that God loves me," he wrote in part, "and that my work is finished." He got into his truck and left his apartment, taking with him a hoodie, his scriptures, and a gun. 11 days later, search and rescue teams found Harry's car in Israel Canyon. His body overlooked the vista. A tempo recommend was in his pocket. In the passenger seat of his truck was a BYU hoodie and his scriptures. Matthew 16:25 was bookmarked. "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it." I may not have known Harry, but someone else taking that action framed it in a new way for me. What if I had done it? What if I had ended before arriving at something better? Was it just chance that led to my roommates asking for a ride to Walmart and allowing my mind to restart? Could a moment's difference have led to my death? Maybe a slight difference in circumstance could have left Harry Fisher here in my place, grappling with the dissonance of desiring both death and life at the same time. Even the day after the worst of my suicidal thoughts, I knew rationally that I didn't want to die. My wood-handled knife and consecrated oil vial were currently at the bottom of my garment drawer, sitting next to my disciplinary council letters and waiting for the next emotional collapse. I knew the thoughts would come back. Yes, my melancholic disposition had persisted for months, but moments of crisis brought everything into focus on death. It was always looming just over my shoulder, ready to incapacitate me. Just as in my childhood, there would be no quick resolution, no single moment where I was no longer a suicide risk. Also, just as in my childhood, writing became a new lifeline. But this time, I wanted something more. During moments when I didn't want to die, I began looking for additional anchors, reasons to live when continued life seemed like a dumb idea. I distracted myself from my problems by getting involved with USGA's leadership. The club had several committees focused on areas of need in Provo's queer community. USGA's president reached out to see if I could fill a role in the faith committee. I was on church probation, suicidal, and undergoing a faith crisis, but I agreed to participate nonetheless. Vanessa was the committee president. She was 20 years old with shoulder-length curly brown hair. She had submitted her mission papers and was waiting for her call. Midway through January, we 5 committee members had begun planning our assigned February Thursday meeting. Each committee took turns hosting the weekly Thursday meetings, and ours was coming up. We initially met at the Cougar Eat in the Wilk. The parameters of our meeting were to create a general faith-promoting experience, even for those who may have antagonistic feelings toward the church. It seemed like a tall order, but we brainstormed several good ideas. I arrived early in the library Thursday night to help set up the slideshow. My perception was that the faith committee nights had lower attendance. Even so, roughly 60 people showed up for the meeting. I never knew what to expect, but USGA's numbers always surprised me. I glanced at the door with each new person to arrive, my heart pounding mercilessly in my chest. Easton did not attend. I hadn't contacted him since our last conversation, though I often had to suppress the impulse to text him. My fear of turning into Claire made self-restraint easier. The meeting began like all others. Rhett Gibson, president of USGA and fellow BYU student, gave the opening remarks, requesting a volunteer to say the opening prayer. Once the prayer was done, Rhett recited USGA's mission statement. The mission statement was read at the beginning of each meeting, which defined USGA as a place of inclusion for queer BYU students. Finished with the mission statement, he stood aside to let Vanessa take the lectern and explain the night's activity. Tonight for the faith activity, we will hear hymn selections performed by BYU students. After, we will sing a few hymns and primary songs, she said. She stepped aside, and another girl holding a violin stepped up to the front. BYU had a surplus of musical talent, so polished, self-expressive performances were typical. After the last musician finished, the time came for everyone to sing hymns and primary songs. I experienced a moment of panic in my front row seat when the time for singing came. This was going to flop. No one would want to sing. People were going to walk out. I was almost afraid to turn around as we prepared to sing, fearful of seeing people's reactions. We displayed the lyrics to the first hymn and played the accompanying music. A chorus of voices filled the room. I turned around to see 60 faces singing words they had known since childhood. Sitting beside me was a student named Eli. He was on the faith committee as well. He and I had become friends while planning this activity. We grinned at one another. Song after song, the chorus of voices filled the room. We sang songs like Lead Kindly Light and Be Still My Soul. Eli and I laughed together as a room of adults sang and acted out popcorn popping. To this day, my memories of this night are among the most unique memories of my life. Myriads of people from all walks of life were in attendance, both men and women, some in their old age, some in their 30s, and even 40s and older. Many were students who, for one reason or another, had been battered down by life's barbs and the pain of being gay. We sang, united in emotion, as a sense of both loss and nostalgia filled the room. Then came the last hymn, and perhaps the most important of all. I am a child of God. Each syllable was sung with care. Emotion resonated in every note. Any observer would have gained insight into the relationship between God and child. Being united in song with so many like me was humbling. In this room were the best and brightest in the world. Also in this room were the downtrodden, faced with two opposing paths, where neither seemed likely to bring true happiness. That song and moment changed me. There is no queer community, no gay agenda, no sides to rally behind. We all have hopes and dreams. Many have a belief in God and a personal relationship with divinity. But some must hide to blend into a society that would otherwise claim they are the degradation of modern culture. They were alone, and in that moment, we all became one. Our faith was precious, but the purveyors of that faith used our belief to erect a cage. For just a moment, the cage was gone. Eli, my friend on the faith committee, drove me home. He parked outside the BYU Creamery, which shared a parking lot with my apartment complex. Eli put his car in park. I was about to tell him goodbye when he asked, "Do you want to get ice cream at the creamery?" I hesitated, unsure if I wanted to encourage this advance. But he was a nice guy, and I considered him a friend. Sure. We left Eli's car and walked to the creamery. As usual, it was packed. The line wound through the store. Every table overflowed with students. We waited, talking all the while, getting to know one another. We both ordered. I paid for mine but not Eli's to ensure he couldn't construe this as anything but two friends getting ice cream. What should we do? I asked Eli, with ice cream in hand as we faced the full tables. Eli pointed to a corner booth occupied by a couple engrossed in their ice cream. Asking anyone to share a booth would have been outside of my comfort zone, but Eli had no such qualms. He walked up to the couple and asked, "Mind if we share with you two?" "No," the girl said. "Go ahead." We sat having a lengthy and animated conversation with the couple sitting across from us. Eli had this ability to connect with people. The terms outgoing and extroverted don't even begin to describe him. People who came around him couldn't help but love him. When we finished our ice creams, Eli and I parted ways with the random couple, walking through the south quad of Heritage Halls. A light snow had fallen, so a museum of snow sculptures faced us on either side of the sidewalk. We passed them, laughing and taking selfies together beside a few of the more artistic sculptures. "Hey," Eli said after a while. "So I know we haven't known each other for very long, but I'm super happy we became friends." I distanced myself from Eli, feeling uncomfortable. Yeah, it was fun planning a USGA activity with you. Eli smiled. He was small, perfect face and hair. He was attractive, no doubt. His personality also made him singularly interesting. It was fun, Eli said. I think we should go on a date. I sputtered in my response. Eli was fun to be around. He was a refreshing distraction from my self-created problems. I considered going on a date with him, and all I could think about was if he and I got into a relationship, I would never get to date Easton. But Easton didn't want to be with me. Our last interaction had been a train wreck. I wasn't worth dating. Something was wrong with me. I couldn't put my finger on what that was, but everyone else seemed to know. Soon, Eli would see it too. I'm just not ready for something like that, I said. Eli maintained eye contact with me, unflinching. All right, I get it. We should still be friends, though. I felt a moment of pride in standing my ground. My job was not to make Eli happy. He wanted something from me, but I didn't want something from him. I'm okay with being friends.